So today we are going to be talking about camping and doing outdoor activities with dreadlocks. I am happy to report that dreadlocks will make your camping and outdoor experiences generally a lot easier. I'm an avid camper. I love doing outdoor stuff. I camp all the time. I've been out here for a couple days, and I will tell you that my dreadlocks have just changed my little life about camping. I'm not the most high maintenance girl ever. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. But I do wear, I've been camping for a couple days. I'm wearing mascara and I drew on my eyebrows and stuff. So I'm at least that high maintenance. Before I had dreadlocks, I did feel the need to make sure my hair didn't look totally gross, I kind of wanted to comb it and style it, which is a little bit hard when you're camping and you don't have access to a lot of product and mirror and shower and whatever. So this thing, I put this bun in, I don't know, I think when I got here, since the day I got here, and I've been sleeping in it and been awake in it, and I've just left it. I literally haven't touched this thing for days, and it just looks the same as when I put it in. It's so nice, so as far as hair maintenance when you're camping, it is 0, which is fantastic. I remember when I first got my dreads, I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to, get them dirty, or if I was sitting by a campfire, I would make sure I was wearing like my big giant dread beanie to try and stop the smoky smell from getting in your dreadlocks. Totally not necessary, I mean, they're dreads, but they're just your hair, so you can get them dirty, you can get them smoky, you can always wash it out. It just takes a little bit, for me, it takes a little bit of a different washing technique than my just general way that I wash it. I will be covering how to shower and wash your dreads in it. I think my next video is going to be that, so go ahead and watch that if you're curious about that, but it's just so easy. Most outdoor activities, it really doesn't change the way that you do them or anything. The only negative outdoor activity experience that I have had since I had dreads has been with swimming. You definitely can swim, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's just hair. You can swim in a lake, you can swim in a pool, you can get chlorine in it, whatever. You can totally swim with dreadlocks. However, I would not go on like a night swim and get your hair wet, or I wouldn't even really go on an evening swim if you plan on getting your hair wet, because dreadlocks take a really long time to dry. If you look at a dreadlock, it basically is just like a giant sponge, and they take forever to dry, just hours and hours to dry, especially if like you went swimming maybe after like 3 or 4 p.m. and it was kind of a cold day, you're out camping, and so evaporation didn't work really well for you, and then you go to bed and your hair's all damp. You're going to run into 2 big issues. Well, the first one's not a huge issue. It's kind of gross to sleep on damp dreads, especially if you're camping. It makes you cold. It just kind of feels like sleeping on a wet sponge, it's kind of nasty. But your main issue that you're going to run into is mold. You definitely can get mold in your dreadlocks. You definitely want to avoid that at all costs. Generally, if you're doing good maintenance, you're washing your hair every week or 2 at least, and you don't leave your hair wet for long periods of time, you should totally be fine. But mold can happen to anybody. Generally, it's going to be because you left them wet for too long. After you shower or after you swim, you don't want to do something like this. You'd want to just leave them down so that as much air can flow through as possible so that they can dry as fast as possible. If you do get mold in your dreadlocks, which probably will happen, especially if you're swimming like out in a lake and you have a lot of natural minerals happening in the water or in your hair, you can get mold. And the way mold happens is you have your dreadlock, right? This is my long dreadlock. In the middle, like right in the center, is where the mold's gonna be, so it's so hard to wash it out. Generally, if you end up with a bad mold problem in your dreadlocks, you're gonna want to cut them out. You can comb them out, it just takes so long. I personally don't have experience with mold in my dreadlocks. Probably you won't. It's not like a big, I don't know, like it's not a super, super common thing, but it can happen. Like I said, I don't have personal experience with it, so I don't have a ton of information on it. If you do have moldy dreads, or if you're really worried about how to get that out, or if you want more information, you're going to have to look up a different video because I don't have that for you. But as long as you don't let your hair stay wet for a long period of time, you should be fine. So like, you can totally go swimming. Don't be afraid to get your hair wet. Just probably don't do it in the evening time when it's going to take a while to dry, especially if you're camping and you can't, like, shampoo your situation. So, anyway, camping and outdoor activities are great with dreadlocks if you are outdoorsy, if you're a backpacker, if you're, a car hippie and you kind of like just traveling a lot, or even if you're a trucker and you're on the road a lot and you don't have a really constant available shower to you. Dreadlocks are a really good option because they stay clean for a long time. You don't have to wash them very often. I would definitely say that dreadlocks might be for you if you are an outdoorsman. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a question in the comments, and if you liked my video, go ahead and give it a like. I will be making more videos, so stay tuned.